Welcome to the Spike Camp podcast. Spike Camp is a free online community for hunters that support conservation. It's a great place to share stories and your experience with other hunters. As a member of Spike Camp, you get access to all of our hunting live streams, discussion channels, contests, hunter resources, and events that we host. Membership to Spike Camp is free. Our only ask is that you are a member of a hunting or conservation group before you register. Head over to spikecamp.com to join us. This episode of the Spike Camp podcast is brought to you in part by Precision Optics. Omer and his team are the ones to trust when it comes to mountain hunting gear, guns, and optics. Precision Optics is a major supporter of conservation, and we are proud to partner with them. Head over to precisionoptics.net and tell them that Spike Camp sent you.
Welcome to the Spike Camp Chat. Tonight we have a very special guest that he does not need an intro. If you've been listening to podcasts about hunting in Western Canada the last couple of years, then you know Wacey. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad. It's good to have you on. I think before we get going too far into it, I think we should maybe do our little announcement about what we got cooking between you and us, and you know, people might ask us some questions throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of let everybody know. So Blake and I are very stoked to announce that Wilderness Locals and Spike Camp are collaborating. Wacey is back in the podcast game again. He's had a bit of a break. It's been a minute or two, and he's going to be recording Wilderness Locals podcast right here on Spike Camp, kind of when his schedule permits, and we're going to help him do the producing and getting it set up on the platforms and stuff. And he's going to be a guest host for us on some of our live streams. So we're going to get him back in the game and get him on the show again. So thanks for doing that, buddy. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. If I can help out, sure, it'd be great.
Schedules are tough though. Life gets in the way, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody's busy, so. Well, the more you got, the little easier it is to spread the workload a bit, I guess. So.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody likes to talk about hunting and all the fun stuff that goes along with it. And I know there's a bunch of guys on the show right now that are probably just dying to ask what's going on with Ty. And it's pretty simple. I don't know if you know Tyler, but those of us that know him personally know that dude has got a million things going and he's super busy, and he just doesn't have bandwidth for this. So he's a super good buddy of all three of us here and many Spike Camp members, and he was a pretty big catalyst in getting Wacey to connect with us. So just want to let everybody know that I think we're gonna give him some pressure from all angles, try to get him on a show every once in a while. So yeah, that's what's going on there. So
yeah, I don't know if he's gonna retire from podcasting, but he's definitely stepping away for a little while here. So. No.
Yeah, he's got so much on the go. I don't know how, every time I talk to him, you can hear three kids in the background. And, I was teasing him on a call I was on a call with him a couple winters ago, and I said, you should really you got to stop this family making. You need to turn the furnace up, quit being so cheap in the winter. Might slow the population of Euro down a little bit. No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Full time.
Exactly. Well, I didn't really have an agenda, so to speak, just a few things, but I think maybe it's a good idea, Wacey, if we maybe start. I know most of our folks that are on tonight that I can see, I know are familiar with Wacey, but there's going to be a lot of members that'll listen on a podcast that maybe aren't so familiar. So let's give them a little background on the Waste Dog. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you live, and all that fun stuff.
So I'm just an Alberta boy, and kind of grew up. We're in the boreal forest, so lots of skag and timber and all that kind of stuff. And just grew up on a farm, but lots of hunting and trapping, mostly trapping when I was growing up. And so I did all that. And kind of just it's kind of been just what I do my entire life. I haven't really had too many other hobbies. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's most the same story a lot of the guys have, kind of thing. Just grew up hunting, trapping, fishing, just outdoors, farming,
Mhm.
still doing all the same stuff.
So, is the trapping thing sort of a generational thing? Was like your dad, and like how many generations are on that farm or have been on it?
Well, in that area. So they, my family homesteaded that area. Like we're all kind of
Oh,
in the same area within a couple miles of each other. So they homesteaded that in I think it would be the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s kind of thing. So we've been there a long time. But yeah, and the trapping thing, it's kind of been, my granddad was a wolf trapper, and so was my dad. And I kind of just came into it too. So I guess it'd be third generation, right? So
yep.
we've been at it a long time. So it's kind of, like their modern versions of wolf trapping have changed, but from what my dad and my granddad used to do. But yeah, well, that's kind of how, like I was a trapper long before, like I was a wolf trapper long before I ever was like a bow hunter or anything like that. Like we always just wolf
Right.
trapped and took predator hunted and all that stuff. So
Well,
yeah.
cool. So, what was what drove the trapping? Was it predator control, or was it like protection of livestock, or both? Like, what was the
Yeah, it's
game back
both.
then?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the predation on animals in our areas, on our farm animals in our area by wolves is incredibly high.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a necessity thing that we've been doing it like that for a long time. So kind
Hmm.
of just how I grew up with it, right? Like I remember getting up in the morning before the school bus and running out to check wolf snares,
No
you
shit.
know,
Well,
and dragging wolves back to the house. Like they're just everywhere. So
drop it on the doorsteps. I'll skin it later.
yeah, there's a lot of wolves. Actually, this last handful of years has been really good. Been fairly quiet. It's the first time in a long time. So I think, lots of guys are doing it. So it's nice to see, take care of a
Yeah.
bunch.
So, do you think that's like a direct result on just lots of guys doing it, or do you think wolves have slowed down or moved out of there?
No, they haven't slowed down or moved out, but there's a lot of guys that are like wolf hunting. Wolf hunting, like not even just forget the trapping side of it. Wolf hunting has become super popular, especially
Yeah.
Americans and guys. They want to come up and everybody wants to shoot a wolf and bait it. And all these outfitters are doing baited wolf hunts now. So I think that's helping more than anything right now. But there's still some
Mhm.
trappers that are hammering on them pretty good too. So there's some real good wolf trappers up in our country here.
Yeah, there's a ton of wolves too. I know a couple of outfitters in Alberta, and like you said, they've all started kind of throwing the wolf hunts out there. They were doing it anyway, and now they realize there's a market for it. Right? People will pay to come and sit in a blind at -25 and get a chance to shoot a big dog. So that's pretty cool. Do you ever read that? I'm sure you did. You read that book that what's the name?
Alaska,
Glasser
yeah,
from
Alaska's
Alaska.
Wolfman. I've only
Alaska.
read two books in my life. It's Alaska's Wolfman and Bows on the Little Delta with Glenn St. Charles.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
That's a great book. That just some of the freaking miles that dude would put on in a winter.
walking,
Just
like,
walking. Yeah,
yeah,
crazy.
he'd be like, "Oh, I walked 150 miles to wherever he was going to hunt," and then he was a meat hunter for the railroad and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good
lots of
book.
money.
I'm not a big
That's
reader,
cool.
as you can tell, but I've read that. I've read that book and Bows on the Little. Actually, I read another one too. I can't remember what it was. It was a traditional archery book too. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So, did you do much wolf hunting this winter then, or no?
Actually, I never. I got so busy, my boys in hockey, and I shouldn't say that. I actually did a little bit, but I never killed anything this winter, so
Mm.
it's okay. It's I don't mind. I'm not skinning a wolf here. So I'm happy.
Oh my God. I haven't skinned a wolf, but I've skinned a few coyotes, and it's all disgusting. No matter how you do it, it's just
Oh
gross.
yeah, like a handful of years ago, when coyote prices were worth quite a bit. I was making $100 a coyote or whatever it was. And I said I'd never skin them for under $100. Like I just wasn't. It's some of them I just gag. It was just
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
never get used to it. I don't care what anybody says. It just even wolves are worse. I think wolves are 10 times worse than a coyote.
Well, you think about what they do for a living, right? Like they're just rolling around in blood and gore all day long.
They'll roll in their own
Yeah.
shit and
Yeah, disgusting animal.
they're nasty.
Yeah, fur prices are pretty bad right now, hey? Like coyotes were worth nothing this winter, right?
Yeah, it's they killed it on purpose. It's just everything kind of follows like the farm fur, right? Like wild fur doesn't make up a whole bunch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's more farm fur is like probably 96%. I don't exactly know, but it's wild fur makes up the tail end of it. And one of the biggest buyers of wild fur was Canada Goose, and they made them coats. So the trim fur on the hood was the big bulk of the coyotes, and that's where they were worth so much. And they just got I think they just got pressured so hard from the anti-trapping stuff, and they just kiboshed it. And they said they were going to just start using recycled fur, and I don't even know what that means, but yeah, basically.
Yeah, who knows where that came from? That could be worse.
Yeah, we were making good money for a lot of years off coyotes. Like it was worth our while. Like we make thousands of dollars out here killing coyotes. And one thing that they don't understand is that with the anti-trapping stuff and all that Canada Goose, and that they're not saving the coyotes. They think that they canceled the need to buy coyotes, like they got rid of that, but guys are still killing them, but they're just not picking them up now. So the coyotes,
exactly.
The coyotes are still dying. They just made them useless, like, or worthless. Like they took their value away. Whereas before, guys were utilizing them. Right now, it's just back to predator. Everyone, you see it don't matter what you're hunting. You see a coyote, it's a coyote hunt. Like everybody takes a shot at them, right? So
bail out of the truck. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I hunted with. I did a moose hunt over Athabasca country last fall in November, and the outfitter I was with, his dad is a local, kind of the local coyote guy. He's known to do that, and that's his thing.
Yep.
And he told me that, so not this past winter, but the winter before, he killed 600 coyotes the winter. And I said, okay, how'd that go? And he goes, yeah, it was pretty good. He goes, keeps me busy, and he's got a full-time job doing something else. But he said, yeah, 600 coyotes. And I said, so you're not doing it for the money, obviously. And he's like, no, I'm doing it for the farmers and just for the animals. And I said, okay, what's the prices? And he says, they're not worth anything. And I said, how many coyotes are you planning on killing this winter? And he goes, 700. So he's like, he's not slowing down. It's going to keep doing it just to keep them in balance. Because if you don't, it just takes, I know when I was a kid, I grew up in sort of south central Saskatchewan. And my dad had a trap line out there. And I remember we were just born, like we were just trained, just shoot coyotes. You just got it. It's for the farmers, it's for the animals, for the deer, everything. And, when the prices got really low, same sort of thing. We stopped skinning them, and there was a local Hutterite colony close by, and they would take them and do it. And then they would still stretch them and then, who knows, save them, I guess, and then sell them in the market. But yeah, it's important. Still got to do it no matter what, right?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been up on the prices in the last couple of years, but I think they're probably kind of, last I heard was like 15 or $25 guys were kind of getting through fur buyers and stuff. So, it's kind of, I mean, I'm not skinning a coyote for $15. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. I'll just pick up an extra hour at work.
Yeah, exactly.
If I need the money, so, but I still, we kill them pretty steady Eddie out here. So, and there's a lot of them. Saskatchewan, I think, is more coyotes, and I think they have, like, the reason that our coyotes were valued so high because they were so big, right? Because they had to be X amount of inches can't even remember now, but to do one strip of fur on them jackets. So they wanted to. So that's why Saskatchewan and Alberta dogs were big, but Saskatchewan dogs were nice because they were white dogs, right? Like
Beautiful coats.
The lighter the cut,
white belly.
the lighter the cut, white bellies. That's what they wanted. Alberta, we do, southern Alberta has some nice coats, and we do get some nice ones up north here, but a lot of them are them timber dogs, and they kind of get the reddish and not real pretty. So but them guys in Saskatchewan they were making a lot of money on them coyotes. I know that. There was a guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name, but he was trying for 1,000 in Saskatchewan. I was kind of following along on his journey or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And man, I think he hit like 700. He had like reefer vans set up in his yard and full-time skinners. And he was just power ram snaring them. And he just had like, I don't know, 150 baits or whatever he was running, and he was just hammering them. It was unreal to watch, like to catch that volume of coyotes. It's a lot of work, right? Like you'd have to have full-time employees to keep up with that, right? So kind of neat.
Well, and it's funny. A lot of people don't realize that, especially in Saskatchewan, and I don't know if it works the same in like timber country like yours, but the coyotes in general, at least when I was growing up, we were kind of, the school of thought was the coyotes follow their prey's cycle, right? So mostly jackrabbits, right? Mice, for the most part, like if you had a year where there was a ton of them, then it usually meant they were eating pretty good that year before. That's what the old timers used to say. And I can remember, as a kid, especially when it was super cold, get a cold snap for, minus 40 or something for 4 or 5 days, and then it would warm up a little bit. I mean, you'd see coyotes packing up, out in the open country. There'd be 8, 9, 10 of them, together cruising, looking for anything they can kill. And we used to go deer hunting. I used to go back every year before they had that, before they changed the draw or changed it to a draw for Canadian residents. So I'd go back every year, and the ranchers that we hunted on their land, they sort of had 2 rules. The one rancher, he said, you guys are out here for 7 days. You can hunt on my land, no problem. But one day you guys got to go shoot coyotes. Like just be shooting them when you see them, but spend one day and go after it. And then the other day was stop by the shop, after chores and bring a bottle of whiskey. That was the two rules to be able to hunt on this guy's land. And we just abided. We did it. It was fun. Well, back in those days.
Yeah. So like with the coyotes and so I don't know how much you guys want to talk about coyotes.
We'll move on soon. But
that's my name, Waste Dog. That's what everybody calls me that. It's because that was my thing, right, forever, and it still is. But anyway, coyotes, they will follow their prey cycle. Like not as heavily as lynx. Like if you get cottontails die off, lynx die off. Like there's no like 2 ways about that. Lynx are dying, rabbits are dying, lynx are dying. With coyotes, no, man, they're so resilient. Like they'll still be around. They'll just move into town and get somebody's dog. Like it's not. Yeah, they're very opportunistic, and they take advantage of everything. So they probably, if rabbits and stuff did die, they would. But man, they know how to find a meal. Those things. Like,
yeah, they're not shy. Yeah, cool. So did you get that big old black bear that you sent me a picture of? Have you had a chance to get after him?
I never even sat.
Nothing.
I never even hunted it. I had a pretty good black bear on bait and sent a picture to Chuck. But never even went and sat. Just busy, like kids of baseball and and I'm working, and she's got lots of projects around the farm here that need to get done. So never even went. I went and did some spot and stalk bear hunting. Just kind of I bought a new e-bike last year, so I was just trying it out. Yeah. And so I did a little of that, got in on some decent bears. I'm kind of just like, I've killed so many bears, I don't know if I'm really looking for a special bear kind of thing right now at this point in my life. Like I don't really just want to shoot a bear. Like even that bear, my bait, like you've seen it, pretty good size, Chuck. And I don't know if I'd even shoot that bear. Like I think I tried to get a buddy up. He wanted to shoot one with a recurve. Like, you want to shoot a big bear with a recurve? I got one. He's just he needs it for sure. For sure, I bet you that bear would be crowding 20 inches, but it's just kind of not what I'm after
He was
anymore.
big. He was a big old boy.
Yeah.
How do you like the e-bike? That's kind of a game changer for getting up on animals, eh?
I'll tell you. I think personally, I think it's one of the biggest changes in hunting that we will see since the trail cam. And it is the wildest piece of equipment that I've ever used. And I bought one of them Vamoose 750s, and it has twin drive. It has twin drive 750 watts, so 1500 watts. And I just took a bear hunt, and I was just bombing some quad trails and cut lines into some bear spots I know were on some pipelines where the grass. So how it works here, like with the pipelines, they're always running warm fluid through the lines, like nonstop. So everything will be dead around it, and this will be like end of April, early May, and right on top of the pipeline there'll be green grass sprouting, right? Because the ground never freezes there. So I bomb in on these pipelines all the time, just checking these grassy spots, and I rode up on so many. It's kind of dangerous. This is my first time hunting bear with an e-bike, and I rode up on a nice black bear, and I rode up on a giant boar grizz, like 25 yards, and he stood up, and I was like, holy fuck. And
here we go.
And he's never seen so before, they probably hear just nobody out here is hunting with e-bikes, especially doing what I'm doing. So that bear, he's probably been in there, and he's heard there's quads that go in there. But I roared right up on him, man. I was like, oh, this is sketch. And so the wind was he couldn't wind me. It was kind of from my right to left, and he kind of just walked off slow. So I just zipped by him at about 15 yards on this trail. And then I got the wind going to him, and I just stopped and looked at him. And then he's a good bear. He actually caught my wind, and he fucked right off. So that's my kind of bear.
You got to watch him. You got to watch him. When we have a couple of e-bikes too. In fact, Blake's going out for one last sort of rip before the season ends with his sister. They're going to do a little e-bike hunt on Saturday, I think. But
they're cool. They're so cool.
They're the best.
Yeah, they are.
They're the best.
Man, it's just they're so quiet, and I just think back to all this out BC. It's not a logging. You're not going to hunt logging roads uphill, giant hills with them. But I bomb cut lines or grazing reserves. I've hunted elk and places like that, and where it's kind of flat cattle pasture stuff or whatever, you can just cover ground so fast. It's unreal.
Yeah, and if you're in if you've got blinds set up, or you're trying to get into an area where, like you say, you want to get into a spot where elk are coming out to feed at night or something. I mean, let's face it, those animals hear the truck, they hear the quads. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if something's moving around, they know. But boy, that just, like you said, it's game changer. You can get right into where you need to be, stash your bike in the bush, and they have no clue that you got in there. It's just like walking. They're awesome.
What kind of bikes do you guys got?
Ours are Quiet Cats. I actually bought mine. Joe Pell, Big Joe from Edge TV.
Joe.
Yeah, Big Joe. So they sold their bikes. They had a sponsorship deal with this company, and then they got a different sponsor. And anyway, long story, I sold him, or he sold his bikes, put them up for sale, and I bought them. And I've got a hilarious picture of me standing beside Joe. I'm 5'9", Joe is 6'9", right? So I look like his little boy puppet right beside him. It's hilarious. But yeah, we got those bikes, and then we actually have a trailer that hooks on the back of one too. I haven't really played with it all that much. Blake and I used them for elk hunting. Was it last season? No, it was the season before, I think we did. So yeah,
just a little.
They're one of those toys that are getting underused, but we're gonna use them a lot more this year, I think. So,
man, and the thing, I researched bikes and test drove bikes, and one thing you want is wattage, big motors, big batteries, and you want milliamp hours. You want a lot of torque, a lot of battery. Don't buy 500 watt bikes and all that. My bike is 1500 watts, and it's hub drive. You can get mid drive. So Baku and those guys, I don't know, is your guys' hub or mid drive?
Ours are hubs.
Yeah, hubs. So mid drives are torqueier. They got bigger, you can do whatever 1500 watt mid drives. I think they're kind of That's what my cousin uses. He's got a Baku, and it's set right up, man. It's dialed. But he also is into that bike for like $9,500.
Oh yeah,
So,
they're not cheap.
yeah, but he uses his. He's a big coyote hunter, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he just bombs from field to field calling coyotes with that thing. It's wild, like how efficient he
Well, there
is
you
with
go.
it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Talk about hearing a truck come in, right? Like that's the thing. Coyotes they're not only adaptable, they're smart too. Yeah, they hear that truck and they all of a sudden they hear a truck and then a dying rabbit. They're like, yeah, bullshit. I don't think so.
And yeah, 100%, man. Coyotes in areas that get called a lot, they're onto it. They know what's up.
Oh,
Not stupid.
exactly.
So
Blake, you wanted
cool.
to jump? Yeah, it is cool. Blake, you wanted to jump in on something, right?
Yeah, let's get the couple questions in the chat while they're here. So Sheldon was asking you, Wacey, what's the heaviest dog you've trapped?
Oh man, I don't know. I never weighed them really. I'd have to take a guess. Like I don't know. Like I could. I posted it on Spike Camp in the Predator forum. There was a wolf on the front of one of my quads. I was running a quad. There was low snow that year. I was snaring, and that's one of the bigger wolves I've ever trapped. He's giant. And but I never weigh them. I wish I should. I need a real scale. Is what I need. But yeah, I never weighed them.
Nice.
Ever caught the neighbor's Saint Bernard or anything like that to get a really big?
No, I never. No, you know what, man? And I did a lot of damage control in populated areas. And kind of how I would do it was I would go to every neighbor's house around there and be like, this is what I'm doing. You know, I'm taking care of these coyotes or whatever. And I'd be like, you know, please watch your dogs. And I would like inform everyone, and I never had a problem. I've always heard horror stories of guys catching people's dogs, and I was always really proactive with it, and I never caught a dog. I was always just like, I did good with it. I could trap really populated areas and have good luck.
Mm-hmm. We had when we were out in Saskatchewan hunting, we had this one, the main ranch that we hunted on. When you came out of his property, it was right along the river. There was another ranch. Used to be a huge ranch, but the old timer sold all the land, and he just had the ranch, you know, like 160 acres around the house kind of thing, you know. And it was right on the corner of two main roads, and he had this big old dog, and it looked like a really big coyote, but he was sort of a whitish, like more white than brown. But you know, like you talked about how excited people got with the, you know, the white bellied coyotes out there. So this guy got so tired of his dog getting shot at, he would every year at hunting season he would take a can of orange spray paint and get his wife to hold the dog, and he would paint the word dog on both sides of his pup. Fucking funny, man. You're driving down the road and you'd be like, is that a coyote? And one guy looked like, it's a dog. D-O-G, dog.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some guys, man, yeah, it's scary. For sure.
Guys will just start blazing out the window if they see him, right? And the dog's running. Like coyotes aren't going to run towards your truck when you're doing 50 miles an hour. Probably not. First clue. What was the other question?
Yeah, Ed was asking, what's your preferred setup for trapping snares or footholds for wolves?
It depends. Like I've done them both. The thing with footholds is in Alberta, like, and you're only trapping until like mid-October. The ground's just too froze, and I've trapped past freeze up, and I would make my own dirt. So I would do like a sand and like a wax blend. So I'd make like my own sand that would not freeze, like a water repellent kind of dirt. And I could transplant dirt for canine like coyotes, and I would catch them. But a wolf, I just don't think you could transplant dirt. They're just too good. So that's why, like, yeah, I footholded some, but you just run out of time, right? Like you're trying to hit them unless you're damage controlling. If you're trying to hit them with good fur, it's like the fur when they're furring up, it's in October and it's the same time as freeze up. So, you know, you're like most 99.99% of guys are snaring just because you're out of time. If you're damage controlling them, then you know you got a permit and stuff, which I have been in part of. Then you're trapping them in the summer just to kill them because they're killing guys' cows or sheep or whatever, right? So it swings both ways, kind of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The preferred method would be snaring, 100%. Yeah, I've snared way more than I've ever footholded.
So what do you guys do in calving season? Just shoot them? Just try to stick around when the calves are out and keep the calves close to the corrals and stuff?
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, like if it's depends, like so like depends on the area and if the guys are taking care of them like ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like my cousin, he works a ranch for a guy. That's all he does, man. The guy kind of like pasture calves. Not like most people nowadays are calving up near barns and corrals.
Corralling
So
them.
it's pretty easy to keep an eye on your herd. This guy calves in pasture land, so my cousin and they take care of it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, they still lose a few, but it's not as bad as it would be.
Yeah, that's what the ranchers don't care for. It's those coyotes in calving season, man. Even in corrals, right? If they're hungry enough, you got to be on it all night, kind of thing, right?
And then coyotes are bad. They do like the cow will be down calving and they'll chew the nose off the calf, and it's just this nasty shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good.
No, they're definitely not good. Yeah. So actually, one of our guys just asked a question about horses, which was a segue in. I was gonna ask you. You and your dad used to. You did a lot of horseback hunting stuff too, right? Over the years.
Still do. Yeah.
Are you doing
my dad's getting
sheep hunt on horses this year?
Yeah, we sheep. Yeah. Last year we'll do. I'm doing a couple bighorns. I'm doing a death march into one spot, which I'm not looking forward to.
How many K?
Oh God, it depends. Like if we want to bushwhack, we could probably cut 15K off of it. If we don't want to bushwhack, we just want to hike up this creek. It's going to be like 32, something like that. It's a lot for a fat old guy like me. So, but the second hunt I'm doing with my dad, we're doing a horseback. Yeah, it's a fun hunt. We set up a big base camp wall tent. My dad just stays there, cooks potatoes and bacon, and I just spike out, on foot. So it's kind of fun. Yeah.
That's cool. So you've been doing that since you're a little guy, going out with him?
Oh yeah, my old man he's so unreal in the mountains he never really guided guys. Like he never guided, but he kind of guided. Like he would guide buddies. And my old man was a horseman before a hunter, so he loved being in the mountains. So the amount of knowledge he knows on trails and campsites. And he will be riding along. Like he took me into an area last year. It's my first time being in this particular area. And they had a pretty nice trail going in most of the way now. And he was telling me, he's like 25 years ago, we used to just ride up this creek for like 2 days on horses. And he's like, we had a camp spot here. And he's like, there's a nice camp spot here. Like he's just got so much info in his head, man. It's impossible to get it all out. He's pretty unreal. Yeah,
that's awesome. So like typically how many horses in a string would you guys have? I guess depends on how many guys and how long you're going, right?
Yeah, last year we kind of, I wouldn't say we screwed up, but I think we kind of just underestimated the gear and the time we were in, and we should have had an extra pack mule. I was carrying a little too, like it was just too damn rugged, and I was just carrying too much in my bag for going in, and it was a little too much for the horse I was on. Like it didn't hurt him, but it wasn't the best. So generally, like depends how long you're going in for, but you'd want a mule and a mule and a half per guy kind of thing if you're going in for a while, right? But yeah, so it all depends what you bring.
Yeah, on that note, Taylor's asking, he'd like to know your opinions on mules compared to horses. I don't know exactly, I guess, what he's trying to compare to. I guess there's a couple ways to
the difference. Yeah, the difference between them, like my dad has raised both. Like I've trained both growing up and still do, but horses, they're a little more finicky kind of. Like you're always shooting them. You got to keep the iron on them when you're in there. Otherwise, you're not gonna go very far. With a mule, you don't shoot a mule, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's just the burro in them or the donkey in them. They're just real durable, and they'll take a lick, and you can really push a mule really hard, and you will not tucker out a mule. They are so damn tough. Horses are a little weak. Like we were doing some big river crossings last year, and I really had to whip on a horse to get them to go. The mules, we were up to their chest in water, pretty much swimming, and the mules are unreal for mountain hunting. But the thing with the mules, they are a little more. They got to be your buddy, right? A little more stubborn kind of thing. So, yeah.
What about that, like load capacity?
You can pack a mule quite a bit heavier. Yeah, they'll take it. You want to be reasonable. Like you don't want to get a mule so you can take more, but it's like you can pack them a little heavier. Yeah, but we also raise draft cross horses too, just for this reason. So we sell a lot. There's a guy actually just came down from the Yukon, an outfitter. I can't even remember his outfit name. I think we had a dozen yearling draft cross quarter horse colts, and he bought them. I think he's buying them all and hauling them back up to the Yukon. So,
wow,
they got their mules. Like guys that are handling horses all the time. It's just the guy too. Like if he doesn't like a mule, some guys don't like mules. They kind of are a pain in the ass. If they don't like you, they're a pain in the ass. And we're a horse, the horse is pretty steady Eddie with his emotions, right? He don't care if he likes you or doesn't like you, right? Kind of thing. So.
Yeah, you don't hear the saying "stubborn like a horse." It's stubborn like a mule for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ride them?
Yeah. My dad actually, so he rode a great big 16-hand high mule in last year, and I rode a horse, so he rides them, and and mules walk up real nice too, so it's nice. They're a nice animal to have in the mountains. Yeah, real nice.
So how old's your dad?
71.
Yeah. He's got a few more trips in him yet, then it sounds like, eh?
Yeah. I hope so. He's getting tired. He don't want to. I set up camp and do most of the work, right? He kind of wants to just go in, and like last year we went deep. I have a buddy who's in that area. And he's got a camp way at the end, and we rode into his camp. It was just too much for my old man. He got a little too tired, and so I think next year we're going to set up a little bit closer in, and I got some spots picked out. I'll spike out on foot and sheep hunt.
Yeah. How many have you killed a bighorn?
I haven't yet. No, almost last year. Got into a 10-year-old ram, real nice ram, and kind of just got beat out in a foot race with a couple other guys, and I could have plugged it out from under him, but I just not my style, so I kind of just sat back and watched. But yeah,
pretty competitive, eh? In the areas, no matter how deep you go.
Yeah, Alberta. It's just there's such a thin sliver of mountains. It's hard. Like it's like nice rams get killed in there in the areas every year, but there's generally guys that are there. Like there's no secrets for sheep hunting in Alberta. Everybody, you talk to guys, and I always laugh, and they're always like tight-lipped. Like there's no fucking secrets in Alberta, buddy. Like
no point.
There's fucking beach trails everywhere the sheep are. Like it's not a big secret, right? But it's just the same, I guess.
One of our members, Clay, he's a big horse guy. He's asking if you guys use both deckers and sawbucks.
Yeah, we use sawbucks for sure. But last year we didn't really pack a bunch. Like it's a different hunt. We went in with a wagon. I don't want to say too much. Kind of gives it away.
You don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah. I think most guys would know where I'm at if just from that statement. Yeah.
Well, like you said, there's no secrets.
There's no secrets. Guys know anyway. Yeah. But yeah, like depends, right? A lot of the times, like too with horses, I don't want to talk about horses too much, but you got to have it's tough because I want to spike out all the time. So you got to have somebody there, right? My old man's great.
You
He
gotta
wants
stay
to
with
hang
them.
around. He wants to stay at camp and look after horses. It's fine with me, right? So I'll just spike out.
Mhm.
But
That's cool. So it's draw season. You guys have a point system in Alberta. You and I have chatted about this a little bit too, the point creep and all that fun stuff. What do you got coming up that you think you're due for with your priorities
well,
and stuff?
oh man, I don't know. I'm due to pull a bunch of stuff. Um, but I already put my draws in. Like I'm due for archery antelope and rifle antelope,
Hmm.
and I got antlered elk. I got to do. So that's like a 15 right now. I just kind of don't care about elk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, just stuff like that. I got to start cleaning it up here one year. I get busy with other stuff, right? Like I want to hunt other stuff. Like right now, kind of, I'm not gonna lie. Like my big focus is the sheep. So like
Hmm.
I'm not really worried about antelope or elk or kind of I'm really just zoned in on sheep, and I want to just get that kind of out of the way.
So yeah, you've been you were telling me you're working on getting your pack lighter. How's that going?
I think it's just a never-ending quest, eh? Just for the be ultralight. Tyler always used to make fun of me and call me because I was always chasing weight, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I just I'm always kind of picking away at it. I think most guys are. I think if you're not actively being self-critical of yourself and your gear a little bit,
Yeah.
like there's, I'm not. Guy doesn't have to pack ultra light. Like I know a guy in Alberta that does, or a
Yeah.
bunch of guys I talk to. They go crazy light. I'm not like that, but I like to try stay fairly. Like my target has always like been 40 pounds. Like I want to be 40 pounds and under if I can, right?
Mhm.
So whatever
What do
that
you
looks like for the hunt, like splitting tents with another guy or whatever, right? So
Yeah, that's the beauty of having a partner if you've got one. Like Blake and I, we've got a pretty good system down now, and we put up with each other's shit in the tent, and we know, I know Blake's got restless feet, and he fucking twitches for fucking 10 hours straight, nonstop at night. So I bring earplugs so I don't have to listen to it. First time, first time we backpack hunted together, he was a kid. I don't know, he was like 12 or something, and we get set up on this. We were on a mule deer backpack hunt. First time ever. I'm trying to inch him into it, and I was still learning too. So you're sleeping, opposite ends of the tent. So his feet are by my head, vice versa. Well, he climbs into the sack and he's like drifted off to sleep. I climb into my side and I'm laying there, just about asleep. And all of a sudden I hear this noise and I'm like, oh Christ, is it a mouse? Was it a squirrel? Like, what the fuck? And it would go for like 2 minutes and then it would stop. I'd wake him up. Blake, did you hear that? No. We both start falling asleep, and I figured out what it was. He's moving his feet, his toes like this, back and forth. Little shit like that. But once you get used to it and you got your partner, it's all good. Then you can save a ton of weight.
Yeah.
So,
I'm actually hunting with a new guy this year. New partner. It's hard, man, to find a hunting partner. Fuck, it's hard. I'm almost at the point like last year I solo sheep on it, and it was okay, right? But I do like I have another sheep hunt. It's nice to bounce shit off of guys, right? Like especially when you're looking at rams, be like a second opinion is real nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hunting with a new guy this year, and I think I don't want to sound gay, but I think he's the one.
Match made in heaven.
So he's a young guy. He's got legs, and and he's actually a guide. He guides up in the NWT, and so shit. He's like, I'm like, man, I got some sheep spots and I got some horses. You want to go? And he's like, shit, yeah, I do. So I'm like, let's go. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard finding a good hunting partner. And my old man, like, he's not really hunting too hard anymore. So
yeah, well, that's what I keep telling Blake. It's like, you gotta, you're hunting with your old man. I got a few of, I got lots. I'm looking at my buddy Clay Weber there, and he's probably laughing at us because he's got some years on me, and Clay's doing 2 sheep hunts, I think, this year. And you just look on Spike Camp and you can see Clay's posts. I mean, this guy kills stuff every year, And there's really no end if you want it bad enough as far as your age goes until your body just says, nah, it ain't happening. Well, like I was telling Blake, you got to start that process now, looking for that next hunting partner. When my mountain days are over, you're going to be in your prime. I didn't start sheep hunting till I was like 49 or 50. And, it's, you're right. A hunting partner, you got a lot of days in the backcountry. And yeah, if it's not a good match, it makes that hunt painful and long, but that's cool.
Yeah, I've had some very bad experiences with hunting partners, like not like blowouts or anything, but it's just like, man, I can't handle this fucking guy, or
we're done.
I've had guys that just walk so slow. Like I'm a big dude, like, but I can walk, right? Like Tyler always said I was like a Cummins with no turbo. I'm just stuck in third gear, right? Like I can lug up a mountain like nobody's business, and it just sucks, like you got guys that are waiting on you and you're just not matched up right.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this guy I paired up with this year is going to be really good. I got high hopes. So we're already planned for August.
I was just gonna say, what you need to do is just strap on 60-pound packs and go for a nice date walk up a mountain and see how the walking goes, and you guys will figure it out. Okay?
Yeah.
Little trial run.
Yeah. I honestly love being behind too. Like if I'm hunting with a younger guy and he wants to take off, I'll catch up. Right. So
yeah. It's funny. It works that way with Blake and I until we get in the bush where there's grizzlies. Then for some reason, all of a sudden, I have to be the guy in the front. I don't really understand it. But...
No, it's usually me stopping, trying to make sure we're not lost with the GPS or something.
Yeah, that's the fucking truth. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're in an area you don't know, it's always good to have one person who's really good at navigation on a device. It it definitely helps. So
my boys
what do you
are 10 and 12, so I'm hoping they come up and wanna do this kind of thing. I'm not really pushing them to do it, but I hope one day maybe.
Well, it'd be cool to get a 3-generation hunt, do a horse trip in with grandpa, you and your kids. Like that's epic, man.
Yeah.
Make sure you get something like that on the books before it can't happen.
Yeah, that's right. I'd like to, for sure.
We did that with my dad. The last hunt that he went on was the one and only hunt my boys did with him and I, and it was a moose hunt in central BC. It was a draw. We had 2 tags, group hunt, and he didn't tell us going into it. He was so excited, and he was like right around 70 as well. And he didn't tell us going into it, but he'd just been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he had a tumor the size of a golf ball, and he didn't tell us. And we were kind of road hunting. Yeah, it was in the Caribou, so no secrets in BC either. It's one of the best ways to find meat bulls, just cruising around at first light. Covered a lot of ground, and we got one moose, but it turned out that was, when we got back, he told me, and then started a long battle with cancer. He never hunted after that, but he got to hunt with his grandson. So yeah, make sure you do it when you can. It's always good.
Yeah, definitely it will.
So what are you packing for a weapon on that sheep hunt?
You know what? Some guys are gonna laugh, but I'm a gun guy. I have quite a few guns, but I have one gun, and I love that gun, and I've been hunting with it for 30 years, and it's a 270 Remington 700 270, and I have killed everything and anything with that gun, and I don't want to switch. I like packing it. I've done like trigger, and I did a new bottom metal, and optics, updated rings, lightweight stock, different things, right? Bunch of work done to it, but it's just what I like, man. I like 270. I shoot it good. I'm a 400-yard under kind of hunter. I can stretch it with that gun. Like I'll bang steel at 750, 800 with that gun. But I don't hunt like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just what I use. It's just my gun. I don't know many guys that just like want to use one gun. Most guys have like, we'll have 10 different guns they'll take, right, or whatever they want to pick. But that's just me, man. I like one gun. That's my gun.
So. Well, it's funny because you got both sides of the spectrum on this call. So I'm a gun guy, and I was like, my dad and my uncle were. Everybody knows the story. They were both serious hardcore gun guys, and that's my jam. That's my obsession outside of work, family, hunting, and spike camp. It's guns. But Blake, he's a one gun guy. He's like, this thing is a tool. I need it to work great. I don't need to know why it works great or how it works great. I need to know that I'm going to point at whatever dad says shoot, and I'm going to shoot it, and it's going to die. And so for him, that's it. I'm always trying to, edge him out of that rifle and into something new, and he's just like, no, not going to do it. But
I shoot this gun so good, and I've had it forever. And I think it's just at the point that it's just got so much sentimental value. I just can't not hunt with it. Like, I just don't want to hunt with anything else, right? So, yeah.
So you gave it a facelift?
Yeah, basically the only thing left is just the action and the barrel. I wanted to rebarrel it this year, but man, it's still shooting real good. So I just kind of left it.
Don't touch it, man.
I kind of been bouncing around, trying different loads back and forth. And I ended up with the last year shooting them 129 grain LRXs.
Coppers, yeah.
Yeah, man, them things were stacking in there. Banged some steel with them. Shot a few things last year with them. Freaking really loved the expansion on them. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to rock this year again. So, yeah, I really like them solid, kind of not solid, but the monometal bullets are nice. Yeah,
monometals. Yeah, I've kind of converted. I'm not converted. I'm trying them out this year. I've been a Nosler guy my whole life, like Nosler Accubons, and like you say about your 270, the Noslers bullets for me have literally stacked and stacked and stacked and fed my family for like 30 years. So it's hard for me to move off of them. But I ended up going with I tried the hammer bullets. Yeah, I did a lot of research on them and picked them up. I know Ty shoots. I think he shot his goat with that, right? With a hammer, I think.
Yeah, I watched it firsthand.
Yeah,
them hammers do work. Yeah, I'll tell you.
they are a hammer. That's a pretty good name for them, right?
Yeah, and I helped skin that goat, so I seen firsthand, and I'm like, holy fuck, man! There's not many animals moving after. Oh, it's nuclear, man. It's crazy. Yeah, they're a wicked bullet. Like they put stuff down right now. Yeah, they're pretty neat.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Actually, we got a question for Blake. Brian Thompson, what's your rifle, Blake? You can answer that. You might take some heat, but it works for you. You kill ownership with it.
Yeah,
he actually has two guns. Go ahead.
Yeah. 6.5 Creedmoor is the main gun, though. I love that thing. I carry it everywhere. It's pretty compact for me and just works. I don't know. I just love it.
Yeah, I don't know what you see about. I don't know if you've noticed this with kids. I don't know what it is, but kids that like my kids for sure, when they're shooting, I watch these kids shoot and they are so freaking calm. Like I don't know if it's just the way their mindset is, but I haven't seen buck fever in any of my kids when they shoot something. Yeah, I should say that. My oldest boy had buck fever. He was shooting a deer and he ended up whacking the truck. He got in and out of the truck like 4 times trying to get after this buck. He shot it and then he ends up banging his face on the door a couple times, dropping his gun. But Blake and his sister for sure, they're killers, man. Are your kids like that? Are they like no stress when they're shooting?
Yeah, I think maybe they just don't care as much as me. Yeah, they seem like my oldest. Yeah, my oldest, she come on a few bear hunts and stuff with me, right? So it's hard to say. I don't know how much they're into it yet, but yeah, everybody seems pretty chill for the most part, from what I've seen, anyway.
Yeah. So Blake's got a squirrel in the yard. Yeah. Blake's I've got him set up with. This is the embarrassing part for me, Mr. Gun Nut. So I've got him running. He's got one of those Kimber Hunters. So it's like sort of like Kimber's version of a Tikka T3, a plastic stock detachable mag, super light little gun. And then I've got a little Swarovski Z3 on it. And I think his gun, fully decked out, is like 6 pounds and 9 ounces. And
Nice.
I think I'm all in. I was like $1,500. I got both components used. So he's got a $1,500 rifle, and it shoots one ragged hole with 130 grain nozzlers, and he just kills shit with it. And then I bought him the same gun in 280 Ackley last year because I wanted him with a little more snuff with elk, and it's identical, same color, everything. He's just got a Leopold scope on that one, but he's running a $1,500 6.5 pound gun, and I've got Mike Drury's building me from Alpine Riflecraft down in Calgary. He's building me a custom in 284 Winchester. That by the time it's said and done, my gun's going to be 2 ounces lighter, different caliber, of course, but probably going to be 8 times the price by the time I'm done. What Blake's doing it for $1,500.
I looked at them guys' website and checked them out. Yeah, they make some nice stuff. Kind of just creeped them there. I don't have the money for it. I like to look a little bit. Honest to God, one of the best rifles, I think, personally, from what I've seen, is just one of them Tika T3 lights, man.
Oh yeah.
And they're good. They're good actions, and they shoot good, and they're freaking budget friendly. You guys are getting, I don't know what they used to be like $1,000, somewhere around there. I don't know what they're probably up to about 1,500 now, but
yeah.
Shit, yeah. I wouldn't be scared to tap on those.
I've built, well, I say but I've had my gunsmith build me probably 4 or 5 custom rifles on Tika T3s. And this guy builds, lots of guys' guns on, Defiance Actions and, you name it, all these big fancy ones. But, take a good Tika T3 and, it's a single stack magazine. If you get the action, like even the factory ones, I don't know, I've bought and sold probably, without a word of a lie, probably 30 of them over the last 10 years because I flip guns kind of on the side, always moving them. Yeah, but I shoot every one before I sell it. And I don't think I've ever had one that didn't shoot really well. Like, at worst case scenario, 1.25 inch group with factory ammo if I do my part, like any of them. So you're right. Yeah, they're good. Yeah. Actually, we're doing Don Lynham, our buddy Don, who's on here, put together a rifle for us that we're going to be giving away. We're going to actually, for those that are waiting, we're going to be running the contest. We're going to start it in July. We're just working out the details with the wild sheep and goat guys. But that rifle is a Seiko A7 action, which is exact same as the Tika T3. It's got a Wildcat stock out of Edmonton, and then it's got an IBI carbon fiber, or no, stainless barrel Mountain Hunter, and it's in 7 PRC. And Don shot it a little bit, and just with factory ammo, it's MOA, and it's a beautiful gun topped with a Zeiss Z, with a 4-12 Zeiss. It's going to be, there'll be some excited guys working the rewards program for that one. I can tell you, it's a beautiful gun. It'll be cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know, like, I got buddies that kind of scoff at me when I just shoot one. That's my gun, right? I hunt with, and that's the only gun I want to hunt with, right? I think right now that gun's 7.5 pounds. And I think it's perfect weight for me to shoot. It's got a little bit of, not super, super light, but not real heavy. It's kind of got a sweet spot there. I can anchor good with it. And man, I've killed moose and elk and that mountain goat and freaking deer and you name it, bears. Just, I don't know. I like it. Kill stuff.
That's all you need, man. What are you running for optics on it, Wacey?
I put a VX3 on there.
Which power?
It's a 4.5 to 10 or 3.5?
3.5 to 10.
Yeah. And I think that's all I need, man. It's not a real long range. Like I'm not a long range guy. Like I don't shoot long range. Like I'll bang steel, like I said, but just for hunting and stuff, that's perfect. It's small. I think it's just a 40 mil objective on it, which works perfect. Light, basically as light as I can get is what I was looking for. and
15 ounces. Yeah.
It's got the
Yeah.
CDS. So I didn't get a custom CDS dial cut. I just do my own little dope chart. And it's nice to have the option. Like I say, I'm not a long range guy, but if you gut shoot something and it's trotting off at and you could poke it at 650 or 700 and follow up, or whatever, you made a bad shot or whatever the case is. It's nice to have the option. But like for me to just lay down and be at 700 and be like, I'm gonna shoot. That's just not me, right? Like I like to get as close as I can.
Yeah.
That's kind of hunting I like to do, right? So.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the Leopold VX line of scopes. I've been chasing weight, so I've been looking for that perfect balance of weight, durability, turret, zero stop. Like those are all kind of mandatory things, and the VX3 is by far, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Some guys will hate me because you got Leopold. Some guys don't like Leopolds, but I'm running them on almost all my rifles right now. Like right from like that scope you mentioned, I've got that on 3 rifles, and like I always check my my tracking, and I do my verify my ballistics out to, like you say, 600, 700, 800 yards, just in case, right? Like you said, that if you make a bad shot the first time, what are you going to do if he's standing at 750? Just wave at it? No, you're going to shoot at it. And you want to know you at least get the drop figured out. Now it's up to you to make a good shot. But they're good scopes. Like they're tough, they're durable, they're light.
I watched a guy, and he has a long range show on TV. Can't remember. Anyway, he did his sheep slam, and I watched him on TV. They post this. It's on YouTube. He shot the bottom jaw off his stone sheep at like 850 or 900, and then he was in the area I was actually bighorn hunting last year. I found kind of the area. I recognized some of the terrain, and same thing. He blew a freaking leg off a bighorn. Both times the guides had to work their butts off to get him back into freaking whatever 1,000-yard shooter engine. But he's promoting long range shooting, and I'm just like, God, it's brutal to watch. Like I just, So that's what I think of long range shooting. I don't like it at all.
No. Well, I did a few years ago. I bid on the I'm trying to remember the name of it, Trinity Long Range out of Vernon, Lumbee area. Guy's got 1,000-yard range, and he had a long range school, and I bid on it in the auction, and I picked up the class. I've you're always got to, in my opinion, you're always learning, right? So I went and did that class, and the guy made a very good sort of opening speech to us, to the guys in the class. He said, how many of you guys got a ballistic app on your phone? And they were all like, yeah, we do. He's like, okay, good. He says, how long does it take you to calculate, your drop to, 850 yards? Everybody's like, oh, 2 seconds, right? He goes, all right, come over to the range. And we look down range, and he's got flagging at every 100 yards all the way to 1,000. And he looked at us, and he goes, can any of you guys tell me what the wind is doing every 100-yard mark from 500 to 1,000? How many miles an hour is the crosswind? You got flags going this way. 100 yards later, flags going that way. 100 yards later, flag just dangling in the wind. 1,000 yards, flag going up and on an angle like that. And he goes, what good is the ballistic app now? He's like, so, that's where the people run into problems is, you can say, oh, I can read the wind. You can't really read the wind. You can get to the wind in certain conditions when when there really is no wind. That's one thing. But when you're mountain hunting, I mean, you've got to shoot over canyons. You've got thermals. You got updrafts. You got crosswinds. You got shit you just don't see. And, that's where guys fuck up and just drill shit or miss stuff. I'd rather see them miss it by 8 feet than blow the jaw off it or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. But that's just where it is nowadays, I think. It's cool, right? It's cool to be a long range hunter. Yeah. Hey Blake, does your Creedmoor that Kimber have one of them thin barrels on it? Is that the Mountain Hunter they call it?
Yeah.
So like 3 shots and that thing's walking on you, or what? Or does it stay pretty good? It gets hot.
I don't even know if I've done an extensive amount of shooting like that to know. Dad, you probably know more than me, but
Yeah, so I've tested it, and so some guys will argue with me on this too. So when I'm developing a hand load for a rifle, like I like to think I'm a precision hand loader. I'm more about the accuracy than I am about chasing velocity. So this is a theory that I've taken to ultralight mountain rifles. So it's going to be a bit of a long answer, but I'll get your answer back to you. So what I look for in an ultralight mountain rifle is the first thing I'm going to start with is figure out, what's the maximum range that we're going to shoot at. And in Blake's case, I've got him, I know he won't shoot anything past 300 yards. Like it's just his own rule because he doesn't shoot a lot. He only shoots, a couple weeks before hunting season. He's one of these guys. Like I said, it's a tool. So I know I've seen him turn down shots at 300 yards with that gun and or beyond 300. So what I do then is I look at the bullet that I'm using and I look at the impact velocity out to range. And I want to make sure, like in the case of an AccuBond, I want to see 1,800 feet per second of impact velocity or more out to wherever you're killing. And so what I do when I load develop is I do the ladder testing and I get to a node and I'll find the accuracy. And when I find where everything lines up, where I'm shooting, for me, half MOA or better at 100 yards is the line I look for on accuracy with a hunting rifle. So that's pretty specific. I'm looking for ES and SD on the chronograph, single digits on ES and low double digits on SD. And I'm looking for that maximum velocity. And what I find when I do that is with pencil thin barrels, I'm usually nowhere near pressure or max velocity that will tend to heat that barrel up quick, but I'm getting them effective kill range, right? I just went through this with my 300 PRC that it's a Gunworks. I think if you saw the write-ups I've been doing on Spike Camp, I've got a 6.5 pound, basically 6 pounds, 8 ounce, 300 PRC with a 20-inch barrel. And I'm driving my hunting load now is just over 3,050 feet a second. And I'm driving one ragged hole. Pretty good for a light gun. So for me, that's the ticket. And with Blake's gun, I've filled his clip like with 4 rounds because normally we carry 3 and maybe 1 in the chamber. And I've fired 4 consecutive shots, 5 seconds apart, out 500 yards and hit stones with that thing. It doesn't really walk. But I have had the exact same rifle in a T3 with a pretty thin barrel. And I pushed the velocity right out to, just about flattening primers. And after 2 shots, that thing would start walking up and out to the right. And I've seen that before. So, call me weird, call me stupid, but that's the theory I use with pencil thin guns is you want accuracy before velocity. Because you can't really hold a rifle down, effectively to range. Your heartbeat, I always tell people too, when you're looking through a scope like that, on a gun that's less than 7.5 pounds, my little saying is your heartbeat is a minute of angle, just every thump of your chest on that scope, right? So, sorry, long answer, but his gun's good.
No, I've always liked the look of Kimbers. They look, they've been around forever, and I always thought I never owned one, but I always thought they were kind of cool.
No, Kimbers are good. They're so the one I got him in, I got him the exact same one in 280 Ackley, and he shot his elk last year. Center punched him walking in at about 80, 90 yards right in the chest with a 140 grain nozzler and just dumped it. So and he likes it. So
the good bullet does wonders.
Oh boy. Yeah, exactly. My old man used to tell me that when my dad was he was a competitive shooter and a gun nut. And I always was, I used to be a guy that chased velocity. And one day he just said to me, he goes, do you really think the fucking mule deer is going to care if your bullet's doing 3,000 or 3,150 when it hits them right in the right spot? Do you really think it's going to matter?
I've hung out with guys that do it, man. They just it's like a sickness. You start chasing 100 feet, 100 feet, 100 feet, and it's just fuck. I could care less. I think my 270s at right around 2980 or 3000 something in
Perfect.
there. 129 grain. I'm right in a good node with it. Stacks them in
Yep.
there every time. I hum with it. That's just like awesome. Perfect. Boom. That's what I'm using.
What are you using for a chronograph?
I was actually I tried my cousin had one of them Garmin ones. You ever
Yeah.
seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
so
one.
that's the last. I actually borrowed his, and I was using it here when I was doing this load development, this last batch. So I was like, man, it's on the budget here coming up.
It's on
Guys
the
and my
list.
wife.
Yeah.
It's on the next
Well,
purchase here. I kind of blew the bank here. I try to pick away on a little bit of gear every year. Like I'm pretty set up. Like I don't really need things. But this year I've always wanted a tarp, a good tarp.
mm-hmm.
So I talked to Aaron. I got a sheep tarp from Kafaro.
Yep.
And then just usually new boots and shit every year, every other year kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I was buying this year for sheep hunting. So
The sheep tarp will save your life. Blake's got one in his bag. We use that thing all the time. We get water with it. I can cover it up.
Yeah.
Cover you up in a storm, like emergency shelter for what is it, 10
cool.
ounces? I think they are.
Yeah.
They're great.
I was gonna do a post on Spike Camp the other day. I actually forgot, but I had pitched it. I was just playing with it with my trekking poles, and I did like 5 different pitches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I should post this because some guys would be kind of interested to see like what you could do with these things. It's not just like most people think a tarp is just a tarp, right? Like you just pitch a tarp, but like, yeah, I was doing all sorts of cool stuff with it. So it's kind of neat. I'm adding it to my bag. I think it's worth the weight penalty myself. But.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, like I said, it'll save your life. So, and actually, if you want to convince the wife that the chronograph is good, just make sure you drop that name Garmin, because Garmin makes all that life-saving stuff, and it could be an InReach, it could be a GPS unit, it could be a chronograph, whatever you want to call it, right?
I'm gonna buy one. I am gonna buy one, but probably not this year. But I'm not doing any probably low development this year. My kid's got a 243. I'm gonna probably monkey with. That'd be about it. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's my stress relief is load development, my loading bench and brass prepping. I bought one of those. I ordered it today. I bought one of those amp annealers, annealing made perfect. You ever seen those things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I anneal
made in
brass
Australia.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been using I can't remember what it is, but it's a torch based one, and I've been meaning to buy an amp for a while. I got lots of buddies down here that kind of offered to chip in, but I just decided to buy it, and I'll start annealing for people on the side too, I think, because they're deadly accurate.
It's nice. I honestly, God knows the difference with consistent neck tension. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real thing.
So. Are you using neck tension mandrels? This is kind of a nerdy hand loading rabbit hole. Yeah, so that's what I do now. I stopped using the expander ball and decapping stem in my sizing dies, and I bought a set of neck tension mandrels, and it's just a little die, and you can do. I got the whole set. I can't remember the name of it. I should post it on Spike Camp, and I will. But I changed my whole loading process a couple years ago, and everything got better. So I just bought a cheap decapping die for from Lee, like a $40 decapper. It does everything. So I'll decap, tumble, anneal my cases, and then when I size, I full ink size and bump the shoulder back couple thou every time. Do it exactly the same. And then on the neck tension, when I'm seating my bullets, I'm seating them with I use this little die in the mandrel set, and it's 2000 neck tension too.
Yeah,
and
I've seen them before.
It's a good process. I actually Ed Thompson was quizzing me up a while back, and I kind of shared my little system with him, and I think he's going to try it out too. But lots of guys do it. That's what the PRS guys and all the shooters do. It's a little bit more. It's like another step, but I mean, like I said, for me, it's chasing accuracy more than velo. So
Yeah.
something else to fiddle with, and I like fiddling with shit, as Blake knows. So, well, you got some questions you wanted to bring on, Wacey? You had someone that you had stacked up for a while, right?
Yeah, just some wilderness locals questions, and let's see here where these are. You guys can chime in on these too. You might as well.
Okay.
Let's see here. When are you coming to the island to drop some big old slob bears? Nate's BC Adventures asked. I don't know. I'd love to do an island hunt. I think they're super cool. Yeah. I'd like to do like coastal. I think it looks cool. Like I've killed so many bears. I would love to just do a different style of bear hunting, like off a boat or something. Would be super fun, man. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'd like to try that. You guys ever do that, or?
I haven't done it. No, I haven't done it. No, honestly, have not done a ton of bear hunting. But I want to start getting back into it. I say that every year, and then, usually ends up all of a sudden like this weekend it's over, right? So, but that's something we should talk about and see if we can get a few guys together or find somebody and go do it. That'd be a blast. They got some monster bears over there.
Yeah, man. Just huge bodies, eh? Like I just don't think there's no winter really, right? So I don't even know how much they hibernate or what.
Yeah,
probably just eat all the time.
They're big.
Yeah.
I see Jay's. I think Jay's hunting right now. I think he got a bear today. Actually, I saw on Instagram. Mindful Hunter.
He's hunting with what's his name? Pro guy.
Steve.
What's his name?
Yeah. Steve.
Yeah.
Isdall.
Steve Isdall. Yeah.
That's they're doing the boat hunt, I believe. Look,
I saw some stuff on he was in a Zodiac or something yesterday, right? I thought I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be a blast. I'd love to just stay on the boat, like if it was a boat that was set up to sleep,
like a real boat.
Yeah, I think that'd be super cool to go do, just to try something new for bears, right? Kill a beach bear with a recurve would be a blast.
Do the Jim Shockey famous video where you walk right up and have them peek over the tree at you and just stick them. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. So this one guy says, I wish bow season in BC was longer than a week. You can still hunt with a bow, can't you, in BC? As long as you want.
It's as long as you want it. It's just you gotta watch all the guys with rifles go driving by. But yeah, I don't know where there's. I guess what he's probably referring to is the maybe the elk seasons where it switches from the archery guys can shoot up to a certain day and they can shoot whatever 3 points and stuff, and then it goes fully to 6 point.
Yeah.
Or you can still shoot archery or rifle. That's probably what he means.
Yeah, just extension on the bow only, I think.
Yeah, when the restrictions on antlers.
See, in Alberta, it's I can't remember. I think it's August. Sorry. So here, kind of where I'm at, it's archery for September and October, and then rifle is in November for the 1 month of rifle.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the river is I'm drawing a blank. I think it's archery is only like a couple weeks long. It's like end of August 25th to September 17th, and then it switches to rifle, and then it's rifle through pretty much September. So it switches to rifle like right middle peak rut, because there's a lot of what the Peace Country's like for elk, right?
Yep.
Like it's crawling with elk, and I think that's why they do that. So guys have higher success rates. So it switches to rifle. So there is lots more bow hunting just only in Alberta, but shit, if you wanted to bow hunt that bad, I'd just hunt. There he goes. August 25th to September 17th in Northern Alberta.
Yeah, that's Sheldon.
My brain don't work so good most of the time. Yeah. No. So And then Mike Jones. You guys know Mike Jones or what?
Yeah.
Knife and tool.
Yeah, he's on the platform, right?
He asked fixed or mechanical for bear for broadhead. What do you guys think?
I'm not an archery guy, so that's your baby, Wacey.
Well, I don't know. I've killed them lots with both. I mean, bears just generally don't bleed. It's just they just don't. They got flabby skin and it usually seals up, and then their fur soaks up a lot of blood too. So generally, as a rule, you'd want to say bigger the hole, the better. I mean, I've shot some really big bears with mechanicals, and they don't go far. And I've killed some good bears with fixed as well. So shit, that's I think whatever you want to use.
So what would the potential issue be on a mechanical? I guess it wouldn't open in time, or wouldn't maybe fully open. Is that it, or what would be the problem?
Not generally. They're usually pretty reliable, like most of the time. Sometimes there's failures, but most of the time they'll open. But I think guys are just saying, like, if you're with bear, or with most animals, if you're shooting a mechanical and you hit a shoulder or scapula or something, that's kind of it, right? You're not going to find that animal. Yeah. But with bears, you kind of want to be center anyway. Like, I wouldn't really hug the shoulder too hard on bears with a bow, so I wouldn't be scared to use mechanical on bears. I'm not a big mechanical guy anymore. I did shoot them a little bit in the early years of compound hunting, but yeah, I wouldn't be scared. Shit, Mike, just fire away. Whatever you got flying there works.
Let her rip.
Yeah, man. They just actually one of the best blood trails I ever had on a bear. I was using a iron wheel, single iron. No, what was it? Iron wheel wide. 125 grain. Yeah, he bled to beat hell. So, and that's a big fixed, right? So who knows? I don't know. Whatever you got that flies. Shot, yeah, there you go. Sheldon says shot placement is everything. 100%. If you put her in the pump house, he ain't gonna go far.
Yeah, one of my sort of pet frustrations that I see on YouTube every year, and you touched on it there a little bit, Wacey, is you got all these shows, TV shows on elk hunting in the U.S., and of course, most of the places they can't hunt rut. They can't hunt the rut with a rifle, so they're with archery. But what drives me nuts is guys sticking an elk in the shoulder blade at 12 yards or 15 yards, and then they never find the elk, right? Like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
An iron will.
That's the answer.
125 grain. If you're worried, if you're one of them guys that likes to hug that shoulder, that's what you want to use, especially on like an animal like an elk. I mean, you'll use them. Like, I've killed bull elk with mechanicals. The first bull I ever killed was with a mechanical, I think. But you just got to put it where it needs to be, no matter what you use. The thing with mechanicals, though, the blades generally bend, and they're kind of a one-time use steel most of the time.
Yeah,
you're not really going to resharpen them, but good fixed blade you can really reuse if you learn how to sharpen them and stuff.
Clay Weber just piped in. He says, "Dip them in tranquilizer."
Yeah,
can't hurt.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's just track them until he goes down. Yeah, so I don't know. Use whatever you got, I guess. I don't really like this. That's a hot topic, man. It's like talking about which bullet is the best, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, or trucks. Like, same thing.
It's very like individual to the person. What do you want to use, right? So what works? I don't know.
Yep.
So a guy asks, he wants to know what our current bow and rifle setups are. You guys go ahead and answer.
Well,
what's your rifle setup? What's your go-to rifle, Chuck?
My go-to is what's the latest rifle. Blake just shakes his head because every time I could tell you some stories.
Day of the week it is.
Which day of the week it is. So this year, it sounds like my Alpine Riflecraft isn't going to be ready for opener. So my 300 PRC, which is a Gunworks climber. I just bought it off. I got it new from Omer in November of last year, and everybody knows I had issues just with the trigger guard. It's a super light gun, right? Like I've got a VX5 scope on there, 3-18 or whatever it is, and the whole gun under 7 pounds, 20-inch barrel carbon. I had an issue. The stock had a vertical grip, which every other climber I've ever shot was just, it's an amazing stock to hold. Like you pick that gun up, it's just balanced shoulder's nice, cheek weld's great, grip was perfect. But every time I shot that thing, even with like factory ammo, trigger guard would smash my middle finger, the back of the trigger guard. And I just knew that was like I knew it was coming. So it became a flinch, and I was like, this isn't going to work. So Donnie Lynham, who again is on the show tonight, I think I saw him there earlier. He loves the climbers, and he puts them on, some of his customs. He buys that stock, he orders it, and it's fantastic. I think up until you get to that 300 PRC caliber type of weapon where you got all that recoil. So I ended up trading him for a Fierce carbon fiber stock, which has more of a traditional slope grip. So your hand is more like this, like a traditional rifle, like what your Remington would be. And then we had Mitch Kendall bedded it for me, and then I changed out the brake, and I fucking love this gun. It's just so nice. The Gunworks guns, the action, the workmanship, it's crazy. Like I said, I'm shooting, I'm consistently shooting .350 groups with it at 100 yards, like all day long, one hole. So that for me. And then, well, I think Blake's already told you when he's got one or two choices. So the Kimber.
Yeah. I like the Creedmoor. I stick with that.
200 yard zero or what?
What have I got you at, Blake? I've got to look on your. I haven't shot it this year, but yeah, I'm 200 with my 300. I think
I'm not 200.
I might be 100. I'm 100 yard zero with you. So the plan is, like, let's say we're on a mountain, and so what we're going to do. Normally, what we do is in July, we'll be up at our cabin, and if it's dry enough and safe enough, I've got a spot where I can get steel out to 600 yards, and we'll practice. And I'll get Blake behind the Gunworks and get him shooting. Because in a situation where, let's say we got a sheep and it's Blake's shot and it's beyond 300 and it's in that 3 to 5, then I'll coach him through with the Gunworks off of bipod. So he doesn't need to use the Creedmoor for that, but he's just comfortable carrying it, and that'll be the combo for us. And then for elk, he'll pack that 280, and I'll probably still pack this little 300 PRC. I'm dying to kill something with these hammer bullets. I got to start dropping animals with them. I want to see that damage. So
yeah, it does damage. I've witnessed it. But yeah,
and for you,
Tyler was on me too. Tyler was on me about ordering hammer bullets when I was like, dude, when I started using these LRXs. It just ordering shit from the States. I'm just so over it, man. I'm done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. I was just, for so many years, and especially that, right? Like trying to get that across the line and then playing duty, and I just said, fuck it. I'm not gonna. But I would love to try the hammers one day. Would be. Yeah, so I told everybody what I'm shooting. I'm just shooting a 270 Ram 700.
Are you going to bow hunt this year?
Yeah, I bow hunt every year. It's changed over the years. It kind of looks a little different nowadays, but I used to go really, really hard with bows, but with family and kids, and I got to pick and choose, right? Like you can't just do it all anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll do some deer hunting with a bow, and then I'll do some moose hunting and maybe a little elk hunting. We'll see what I got time for. 100% moose rut or pre-rut. I do general archery for moose. So 100% every year is my funnest hunt. I love doing that, calling bulls in and stuff. It's real fun. So I just hunt with that. I got a custom built Vanguard recurve that I use for that out of Montana.
Yep.
So that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah, that is a rabbit hole. I know Ty was going down that road too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, people think just stick and string, and then for the most part, it's kind of what it is. But I've ordered custom. I had a super recurve one time. I had custom built out of Scotland,
Oh,
by a company called Border. I think it was a rocket ship, and I nuked a lot of animals with that thing. It's an awesome bow.
mm,
Um, and then just I've had bows built. This is my second bow. I had a Toki out of Montana, and then this Wangard I had built out of Montana. Just shit. I had Jack Kemp, who just passed away. He was out of Edmonton. He built me a boa. Um, so it's a real special bull for me. That's actually what I killed that bull with, was that Jack Kemp. He
mm-hmm.
called him his quick stick. So yeah, I'm scared. I don't even want to use it. I just keep it put away because it's a real special bow, and I don't want to pack it too much. I hunted with it one season, so and I killed a bear and that bull. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what I'm using. So banging away. Sheep, I'm more
Cool.
worried about sheep. More worried about sheep. Moose is nice in the
Well,
freezer though, for a big family like I got. I like a nice big bull in the freezer is real nice.
oh yeah, yeah. So when you're shooting moose, are you picky? Are you picky for a big one, or are you picky for a young one?
Generally not. Generally, whatever
Yeah,
comes in first dies. That's just
yeah.
we love. It's really important meat for my house. I it's kind of that old debate, right? Like you want to shoot older bulls, and it's not. But for moose, man, I just don't. I shoot. Legal bull comes in, he gets it first up.
I think I
Whoever
told
comes in
you.
first.
Yeah, I think I was telling you. I've got some. I've got a couple guys I know. One's a pretty good friend who's an outfitter in northern Alberta, and when COVID hit, there was some deals to be had, and I didn't get drawn. Like, for some reason, I pissed off somebody in the BC government. I can't pull a moose tag for the life of me, like one every 15 years or something. So I've done some over the counter stuff, and we end up killing moose, but I ended up doing a COVID, like a cheap hunt, for just any bull, November late season rifle. And I told him, I said, look, here's the trade-off. I will shoot the first bull. Like, you put a bull in front of me and it's dead. And so it was like literally, 4 minutes into opening day, November 1st, this little 3-point come waddling in at 300 yards, and I dumped him. And grain fed Alberta moose,
Those,
the
oh
secret.
yeah, they're
Oh my God. Yeah. So,
cut it with a fork.
I was done in 7 minutes on day one, and I went back to him and I said, sign me up. If COVID's still on next year, I'll do it again. And I did. I went back, and it was kind of a funny story because I showed up there on Halloween, and I said to him, he goes, same program as last year. I said, yeah, first fucking bull. I don't care. And so he had this young kid, local farm boy, who was my guide. And my buddy says, you can mess with him if you want, because he thinks you're a trophy hunter, like you're one of these Americans that comes up to shoot the magical 50-inch Alberta bull, right? So
Yeah.
kid comes back, it's like Sunday night, and he's been out scouting, and he's like, oh yeah, he says, yeah, I've got a field where there's like 20 moose coming out in this big field, and there's a monster out there. He's got to be pushing 50. And I was like, oh yeah, what else did you see out there? And he goes, oh, there's a couple little 2-points, a little 3-point, and I was like, oh yeah. I said, so what's the plan? And he says, well, we're going to pull in, we'll drive on the lease road in the dark half an hour before, and we'll get out, and we'll sneak to the edge of the field. The moose are coming across, with the cows kind of like 20 minutes after legal light. And I was like, okay. Well, we get out there, we're standing at the edge, and you can start seeing in the distance the little black spots popping up all over in the field, and he's over like this. He's looking across the field at like 800 yards. He's like, oh yeah, I see that big one. Well, I'm looking out here, and I see a big cow with a calf, and then this medium-sized bull, like moose,
Yeah.
walking in behind him, kind of walking towards us. And he kept telling me, he's like, look at that big bull. Like, I think we're going to have to go all the way around. And I looked out and I said to him, I said, you see that trail? Like, there's a trail going out into the field there. What's the deal with this landowner? He goes, well, the landowner said, for recovery, we just got to stay on the trails. And there was a crossroad of 2 trails. I said, okay, that trail that goes like left to right, how far is that? And he goes, 300 yards. I said, okay. Well, we're standing there, and all of a sudden, all three moose are standing at the intersection of the two trails. And I grabbed the shooting sticks from him and put my rifle. I was shooting a 325 short mag. And I just basically said to him, I said, I'm going to shoot the little one. And the kid looks at me and he goes, what? I said, yeah, I want the little one. And I dumped this bull right on the crossroad, one shot. And then the kid's just like amazed. He's like, I thought you wanted a trophy. I said, in January, when I have that thing sitting on my plate, medium rare with some Montreal spice on it, and I'm slicing it with a butter knife, we're going to talk about trophy then, because that's the moose for me, buddy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, fucking drive out there with a truck, slip it into the back of the truck, and I was back. My moose was in my truck 2 years in a row. I was on my way out of there, headed home by noon, and it was like, oh, it's so good. Such a good meat.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I've actually killed some big bulls that were really good as well. But
yeah,
I've killed some small bulls that were really good.
Yeah, it's like veal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt a little bit guilty until I had my first steak, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is going to be great. So,
yeah.
How we doing
100%.
on time there, buddy? Blake?
Yeah, good. We got about 20 more minutes before this thing shuts off.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. You got any more questions off your list there, Wacey?
Yeah, Clay Weber asked another one there. You guys can see it.
Oh, yeah. How many rounds you take in the mountains when you're backpacking, and how many arrows? What's your answer, Wacey?
Depends, man. Like, this is a great question because I never know the right answer, but I'll take a full mag usually, so I'll put 5 in. And then I got magazine pouches, I got a couple. I got like a 10 rounder and then like an 18 rounder or something. So generally on the sheep hunting, it depends. Like I'll take last year I took the 10 or 11 rounds, but wouldn't you look silly if you had to have a shootout with the sheep and you got no ammo left? So I don't know. I've had different guys tell me they'll take full box. Depends how long you're going, or I don't know what you're doing too, I guess. And for arrows, I'll usually take a full dozen, 100% most of the time. Like I'll just have one of them arrow tubes. I'll jam inside of my backpack, and that's what I pack. Full dozen, 14, whatever I kind of got, but no less than a dozen usually. Usually with a bow, you're like, not really, like, especially a recurve, man, she's kind of like a one-shot deal. You're not usually getting a 50-yard follow-up kind of deal. So that's slinging a bunch of carbon.
Yeah, I was, I think we were down. I was down to like 8 or 9 rounds on a sheep hunt until that one year when I had to send 4 rounds towards a grizzly to get it to leave us alone. And that was on the second day of a 12-day hunt. And it's like, I had more back at the base camp, but I felt a little light for the next couple days.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like it depends what shows up or what you got to do. Like it's just like, is 20 too many? Like, is that something you really want to shave weight on? Like I don't know. I don't really like that.
Also depends, I guess, how many people are in your crew. Because like Dad, like I take 10 myself. Dad, you take probably 10. Like we got 20 between
9
us,
or
but
10.
If you're solo, I mean, that probably changes it a little too.
Clay Weber's at 13, so
13.
Yeah, and Clay spent a lot of time in the backcountry, and he's probably had that exact same shooting at grizzlies.
13, I mean,
if
you dump, like if you're using 13, 15 rounds, things have gone horribly wrong.
You've got stories if that's the case.
Yeah, 100%. So each to their own. Yeah.
So I kind of like doing this on our podcast. Get a couple hunting stories in at the end. So what's your favorite? This is a tough one. What's your favorite hunt so far in your hunting career? What's most memorable hunt?
Oh boy, I don't know. This bull here I killed with a recurve. It was a pretty exciting hunt. I ended up arrowing that bull at about 2 feet. And
2 feet?
2 feet away, yeah. And I stuck him. I didn't even. I was just. I was using Jack's recurve, and I didn't even like. Usually, when I draw my bow, I draw an anchor, and I just shot from the hip, right from the chest, kind of just, oof, because he was, about 2 feet, about pretty much at the end of my arrow, and it's kind of how it worked out. Like this bullet grunt, like I found with archery hunting moose that they're super sensitive. Unless you get a bull that's really tranced out, like he's just swaying and grunting, you can kind of get away with a bunch more. But if you're working a bull and he's calling, they're kind of, I found anyway, they're sensitive to noise. So I'm in the swamp and it's really thick, and I try to just hold up a lot of times. If I got a bull talking, I want him to come to me. Because if you start kind of moving and scraping and scratching, it's like kind of the opposite for elk. Elk, you can just crash around and they usually think you're another bull. But with moose, I found that they're a little touchy to noise. So I hold up a lot of the time. So that's what I did. I just held up. I was actually standing in a moose bed, and that bull came in, and we grunted back and forth. He would grunt and grunt, and I would just sit quiet, and you could tell he's trying to get me to talk, and I just give him a little like that, and then he'd and he would come and sound like a D8 coming through the brush, and I was here, and the wind was my wind was angling kind of away from me, but he was going for it. I knew what he was doing. So as he was crashing through the brush, I started moving, trying to keep my sound the same as his, and that's how we met. Like I had no shooting lane. I was in freaking 8-foot tall willows, and we ended up like 2 feet apart, and his freaking eyes rolled back in his head, and I pumped him right to the fletch.
Jesus.
It's heavy grizzly country, and I ended up backing out that night. I'm like, because I don't want to push him. I knew the shot was good, and then I had a couple buddies come in, and we were looking different areas. Actually, my buddy found him, and there was a bear on him when he found him. So, but just like the bear just beat him to it. So then we were all panicked, right? Like, so we basically were just shuttling quarters out of there.
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty exciting one. Like I've killed 5 bulls, I think, with I think 2 or 3 with longbow, and then a couple with a recurve. Then I killed a bunch with compounds over the years, and some with rifles. But most of the time, my longbow and recurve bulls are super exciting. They're always up close and personal. Always. It just seems like I'm never taking, like, even with compounds, but I've shot a few bulls with compounds like 45 yards kind of thing. Yeah. Recurves, they always seem like I'm always within like 10 feet, like just real tight. So that's probably one of the more exciting. Yeah, I've had a couple like that now, but that guy there, and I've shot bulls up tight before, and it goes one or two ways. They either roll out or they run you over. There's no in between with them.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I drop the string, I might, because we're freaking eye to eye, right? Or his head's up here, but that was great side of him. Yeah, so that was an exciting one. That one was just over 50, I think 52 or something.
That's impressive.
He looked like he was 75 inches wide when I was 2 feet away from him.
Yeah, I noticed in Alberta, in the Peace Country anyway, when I hunted there a couple times. Another cool thing about the Alberta bulls I noticed, they might not be that big, but you get a lot of gnarly, non-typical, weird-looking moose, with drop tines and stickers and stuff. You probably shot something like that too, eh?
Yeah, I shot a bull with a freaking drop tine one time like that. I videoed it. It was like back in the early 2000s. I used to videotape all my hunts. I don't know if I thought I was going to be a wild TV star or what, but I videotaped. I had it on video. I shot that bull at like it was at a compound back in the day, early days, and he had a big club. Yeah. My wife has him in her flower bed right
now. That's cool. Yeah. Okay, so that's That's a cool story. What about dream hunt that you have not yet to do? What's on your list?
Oh, man, caribou. That was the whole goal with Tyler, man. Like that was what
Caribou.
I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do caribou. We knew it was going to get shut down, and just fucking never worked. Just Ty's schedule or this and that, and it just never got work. So I feel like I really missed out on BC caribou. Yeah. That's a bummer for me.
Yeah,
that one's a heartbreaker.
Well,
one day
I guess
I'll get in on them, but just not right now, probably.
Well, I'll say this: if you ever get a chance, I was skeptical at first, but I think most people know I just got back from South Africa, and it's a different experience. But oh my God, I had so much fun, fun. And my wife was able to be with me, and she's not a hunter, and she came out every day with us, and she came in on a couple of stalks, and she was like right there when I killed 2 or 3 animals, and some of the stories are pretty cool. We should do a podcast on that and kind of walk through the stories on each of them, because it was crazy. And I booked again for 26. I want to go back. I've got like 4 or 5 more animals I want to kind of get there. The types of animals and just the amount that you see, insane. And the country, it wasn't what I expected at all. Everything was different. But
I hear that from guys that go on them safaris and stuff, that they love it and they just want to go back, right? So, I've never been.
And you know what? It's really not as expensive as you would think. You think
That's
about
what
it.
They say. Like you can shoot how many of those compared to like one sheep or whatever you got to buy here, right? So.
Well, not even sheep. Like if you do like a Alberta moose hunt today, full price is $8-10 grand US, right? Yeah. Somewhere in that range, depending on the outfitter. So, for 8 or 10 grand US, you can go to South Africa. Now, keep in mind, it's expensive to get there, so you got some airfare. But for 8 to 10 grand, you can shoot 5, 6, 7 animals, and some nice animals too. And you can, if you spread it out over a couple years, you can get some of the higher end ones. Like some of the big antelope trophy fees are going to be in that 4 or 5K range. It gets expensive when you start talking about Cape Buffalo, like that's north of 10. But if you just want to shoot a lot of stuff, like really cool antlered, or not antlered, but plains game, it's cool. So
no, one day when I'm old man, maybe I'll go. That's my dream, though. Well, like when I'm old, just sit in a whitetail blind with the stove going, and that's it.
Yeah,
hunting deer all November. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. I think for me, when I get old, the hunt will be something along the lines. I'm going to still do the international stuff, but if I could get, Blake and I ran into, it was like we were at Dees Lake once flying out to do a moose hunt, and the flights were all backed up, and we were chatting with, you were there, Blake, when we had like 6 or 8 old guys. Remember those old guys? They're all in their 70s. Yeah. So these old boys, they go every year, and they're like retired. A couple are retired doctors and farmers and ranchers. And they go to the same lake every year. They pack in a wall tent. They got a boat, and they set up a camp, and they go for 12 days, and they'll shoot 2 or 3 bulls, but they just sit on the beach in lawn chairs with a fire and drink beer and bullshit, tell the same stories over and over again, and fish. And like, there's a retirement plan I could get into. I just need a bunch of old farts like me to go along with it.
I just want to get my mountain hunting stuff out of the way, and then
yeah, exactly.
I got goat done now, so I'd like to go back one day for I want to do archery goat, recurve, and so that'd be a fun hunt. I think I could do it with recurve too. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, I haven't got a goat yet. Working on a draw this year. I'm hoping that we can. Blake's kind of obsessed with goats. He wants to get a goat real bad.
Yeah, too many things. I'm working on blacktail right now, actually. That's the big main project.
Yeah. I think Wacey and I share the same sentiment on blacktail. I've heard his comments.
Yeah. Well, Tyler's like, "Do you want to come out here and hunt blacktail?" I'm like, "I'd rather get kicked in the nuts over and over again, my friend."
He takes me out. Blake drags me out into the blacktail bush, and it's fun. Like I do like it. Anytime I can get a chance to get out there, especially with my kid, it's great. But I haven't 100% bought into the blacktail program yet. But he is like, I mean, it's all he thinks about, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm addicted. I'm out there all the time.
You're kind of like, that's what I found. Like, I'm a whitetail guy, but you're just a victim of your circumstances. Like you live in blacktail country, you're a blacktail guy. You live in prime whitetail country, you're a whitetail guy.
Totally.
Yeah, unless you're Ed Thompson and you're a mountain goat guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You're a victim of where you live and what's accessible to hunt, right? So for me, it's like I'm not really interested. Like Alberta has some great mule deer hunting. Like I see during the whitetail ride, I'll see 200-inch muleys like every year, and I don't care.
It's not your jam.
I can care less about a mule deer. Like I got one on the wall there. I shot with a bow in like 2014. I could care less. I don't even put in for muley draws anymore. I don't care. Don't like them.
Wow.
Not a fan. They all look the same to me. Forks in the front, forks in the back. That's it.
That's funny. Good way to look at it.
There's your mule deer. Right. So the guys that are down south, they're victims of their circumstances. They just eat, breathe, and sleep muleys, and they're good at it. They're good at it too. Yeah. And it is fun. I shouldn't knock it so hard. It is fun stalking up on them in the prairies and stuff. But
yeah,
it's fun. Yeah.
Well, we're
Clay asked if there's pigs in our area. Yes. Yeah, there's pigs. I've arrowed a couple pigs out of a sounder one time. A herd of pigs. I crawled in on my belly and shot a couple with my bow. Delicious.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Well, dude, I think we're just about at 2 hours, and the network just shuts us down at 2. So I just got to say, it's been a blast, Wacey, as we knew it would be. And I'm glad you're back on the air again, and we're super happy to have you as part of our team on Spike Camp, and we're looking forward to getting it going. Couple things for the members and folks out there. We're going to be running a sheep camp. We're just putting together the schedule. Wacey is probably going to be running one of our episodes. He's got a pretty cool guest lined up. He's going to be bringing on to talk sheep hunting. And a lot
of gear on that one. That's going to be pretty gear heavy, but there'll be some sheep stuff like tactics and shit too.
Perfect. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be good. So we're back from our little hiatus of Blake's honeymoon and my Africa trip. So we're going to start banging stuff out again for everybody. And then the Spike Camp Rewards program, we just launched a new contest today. We got some gear up there. We tweaked the rules a little bit on the qualifications just to make it a little more reasonable for folks. And all right, thanks everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks guys.